What's up? It's your boy, one and only AR Legends. And yeah, guys, today I am back with the next part of What If Naruto was abandoned by his family and had an unknown dojutsu. So, yeah, guys, hopefully you guys like this part. And if you guys have not seen the series, please check it out in my channel. You guys will definitely like it. And yeah, guys, if you guys are new to this channel or if you guys have not subscribed yet, please guys do so. It would be a lot helpful to me. And yeah, guys, please follow me on my Instagram. I have also put the link of my Instagram within the description below. So please follow me on Instagram as well. And yeah, guys, without any further ado, let's start the video. Last time we left off as we saw that how Naruto finally decided had finally, you can say, ended his training with Kurama after 2 years of hard training in different techniques as well as mainly in Fuinjutsu, in which in his mindscape multiple shadow clones were working on it. As for the backlash, Kurama easily take care of it. And now Naruto had the knowledge of at least 10 level seal master, as Kurama told him that even though he had a lot of knowledge in Fuinjutsu thanks to being, you can say, around Uzumakis as well as being sealed inside of 2 seal master such as Mito Uzumaki, while Kushina is not on the level of Mito of course, but still he had only this knowledge. He was able to gather it only to the level 10. Above that, he has to learn from the Uzumakis because of their, you can say, different method of making sails, as they were the one who you can say revolutionized the sealing art a lot. So he had to go to Uzushio if he wants to have any chance of, you can say, gaining more knowledge about it, as there were some secrets about secret Uzumaki as ward or something like that, which Kurama heard once or twice because of the third Hokage asking Kushina to go and search for it, but because of the traps laid there and they did not want it to risk their Jinchuriki even further, so they have to come back hoping in the future that some other, you can say, they would be able to get their hand to that in the future. While on the other hand, Kurama finally helped Naruto, you can say, to gain him his new dojutsu, which was created by Kurama as it was gifted to Naruto. While on the other hand, Naruto gifted Kurama a seal, thanks to which his connection to Madara Uchiha has finally been, you can say, cut off. As when Naruto placed the seal on Kurama, a seal appeared in the stomach of Kurama as it had the symbol of the Mangekyo Sharingan as well as a contract seal. That was the reason Madara was easily able to summon Kurama whenever he wanted to, and being able to control him thanks to the help of his Mangekyo Sharingan, as Kurama was quite grateful for that. After that, Naruto as well as Kyuubi finally decided to leave Konoha and went to the Uzushio. So yeah, guys, that was the last part where we left off, as at the moment Kyuubi was simply looking towards his body. It's quite strange. After being out last time I came out of the steel, it was for only few hours, as Naruto simply chuckled, and you destroyed half of the village. As Kyuubi simply shrugged, well, I was not myself and they attacked me, to be fair as well. As Naruto simply chuckled at that, well then, how about the farm? Does it give you some trouble? As Kyuubi simply shook his head, I can control my chakra a lot better. Somehow, I think that it's because my connection to the seal that is still there. In my normal, you can say, form, I was not able to, you can say, change my size or to have some type of human transformation whatsoever. But now I can change my form if I so desire. As Naruto simply nodded at that, as now they were, you can say, roaming around the Uzushio destroyed island, as Kyuubi was as well as Naruto had activated his dojutsu. As Naruto chuckled, so what should we name this dojutsu, huh, Kurama? As Kurama simply shrugged, well, to be honest, I made it only because of the abilities. I don't go after the names, flashy names such as the Rinnegan, Sharingan, or the Byakugan. As Naruto simply shrugged. So yeah, guys, it is up to you. Just tell me in the comment section what name do you guys actually want, because I'm not gonna name it here in this part. So tell me in the comment section if you guys have some name for Naruto's dojo, and try to be something new. Yeah, that would be a lot great. Well, anyways, as Naruto simply shrugged, well, I'm not in hurry to name it anyways, as they were roaming through the Uzushio and trying to find the secret vault that was said to be here, as Kyuubi once again sent a bit of his chakra, destroying several, you can say, seals that were around. As Naruto simply nodded gratefully, as Kyuubi nodded as well. He was not in the mood being trapped in another seal whatsoever after being released from another one. as they were easily scouting the area as Naruto pointed towards another direction as Kyuubi once again released a bit of his chakra blast thanks to his tail. As it was like bullets, he was able to release it from all of his 9 tails as the chakra slammed into the steel and you can say destroying them as well, overloading them. As Naruto simply looked towards his hand and then focused his chakra in his body as his eyes could easily see a you can say distinct even though the dormant chakra that is in the seals, thanks to the help of his dojutsu, as Naruto pointed 2 fingers towards another seal, releasing a bit of laser type attack from his hand or from his finger, destroying another seals. As Naruto finally arrived to the place as he looked around the island. Kyuubi, Kurama, I have some theory. As Kurama raised an eyebrow as he said, "What do you mean by that?" As Naruto said, "Well, in this island, there are multiple places where seals are actually placed. Most of them are traps, but that section, as he pointed towards it, has the most seal in a row, as well as several tricky seals as well. I'm willing to bet that those seals could even absorb your chakra if you attack them in a beam-like fashion." As Kyuubi narrowed his eyes, as he was also able to sense a bit of chakra that was sealed inside of those seals to work. As Kyuubi simply nodded at that. "Do you think that is the way to the secret world of the Uzumakis?" As Naruto simply nodded at that. That could be possible, but those seals, I recognize some of them. As Naruto narrowed his eyes, he could see his vision has cleared a lot thanks to the help of this, you can say, his new eyes. As he said, quite interesting. Those seals are powerful enough to blow up the whole island, and especially the last one, it seemed to be some kind of masterwork. Only an Uzumaki can actually unlock that seal, but for that, he has to even go through all of these seals, otherwise it will not work. As Kyuubi narrowed his eyes, and that one, that would be able to restrict the chakra of any Biju if they are trying to overpower. As Kyuubi simply nodded, "So, you're on your own from here on, huh?" As Naruto simply nodded at that. "Well, it seemed that way." As Naruto looked towards the seals, several of them, as he sighed and bring out his, you can say, brush and ink, as Kyuubi simply coughed a little, but then Naruto's eyes widened as he finally remembered as he chuckled, as he put his hand into the air and started to make several seals and started to put them over different type of seal, as most of them started to get disabled, though some of them had a bit of nasty surprise, though Naruto was able to avoid them since shooting this type of seals from a distance was quite easy. As finally, Naruto was standing in front of the final seal, which was quite a masterpiece. If Naruto must say, it was at least level 13 to level 14 level of the Uzumakis. As he was looking towards the seal, to be honest, he was not even understanding the half of it, as he whistled a little. As Kurama finally came behind him, as he said, "What the masterpiece it is." As Naruto simply nodded, "It is even greater of a work than Shikifujin, the seal you were talking about last time." As Kyuubi simply nodded at that, that seal mainly worked because of the sacrifice. If people were to use it on the lower level, summoning a demon from a demonic realm to do their bidding, though if one had a proper knowledge of at least level 15, they should be able to avoid the whole sacrifice thing. As Naruto simply nodded at that, "Do you think that Uzumaki's found a way?" As Kyuubi simply shook his head. "They were the one who made the seal at the level 10, though it was, you can say, a old master. But I don't think that they would have meddled with it much after all. It also, you can say, tore apart a small hole from this world to the world of the demons, summoning, you can say, demonic lords here for the whole sacrifices. Just imagine if, you can say, a seal were to tore apart a permanent dimension hole between two dimensions. What would actually happen?" As Naruto whistled a little. Demons coming from the other realm, huh? Quite different it would actually be." As Kyuubi simply nodded at that, "That would be quite troublesome. This world would actually be destroyed. So I don't think that even the Uzumakis would have meddled with it that much." As Naruto simply nodded, understanding that it was bad enough someone made at the level 10 to summon a demon to do their bidding, calling him Shinigami or whatsoever. Quite fools actually are, thinking that they can control something, you can say, like that with few seals or a small sacrifice. As he simply shook his head. Now, he simply said, quite the different seal it is, though it is mainly lined up. As he looked around all the island, small lines were going from this seal to all around the island. If something were to be wrong, or you can say, it seems that I have to put my chakra as well as my blood into it. As QB simply nodded at that and shrugged a little, but wondering why it was made so complex if they simply wanted to destroy the whole island if it was to be meddled with. But he simply shrugged. As Naruto simply cut his finger and put his hand on the seal, as seal suddenly activated as Naruto could feel his chakra being siphoned from his body. As Naruto closes his eyes as all the chakra was being, you can say, put into him. And suddenly you can say Naruto noticed that the chakra flow stopped at that, but then suddenly all the chakra slammed into Naruto's body as Kyuubi's eyes widened in complete alarm as Naruto started to scream in utter pain and agony as he tried to remove his hand from it, though it was not moving, while Naruto's other hand quickly went to his head as if something was invading his mind and his very own being due to the connection which Kyuubi had through the seal of Naruto, which Naruto, you can say, modified as he could feel several, you can say, amount of knowledge was being put inside of Naruto's head as Kyuubi simply cursed under his breath. Of course, they would do something like that to save their knowledge, converting all the books and different secret scrolls, converting them into, you can say, pure seal. And now an Uzumaki, only an Uzumaki would have the knowledge, even if he is on the side of the enemy. The others would have a lot of, you can say, trouble gaining such knowledge as to abuse as Naruto was still screaming as Kyuubi started to release a bit of chakra which was still sealed inside of Naruto to, you can say, try to heal it. Though it was not working that much, but still he was able to preserve a lot of Naruto's mind as after some time as Naruto was slammed to the ground as his eyes had a dull look in it. As his, you could say, dojutsu has already deactivated as Kyuubi sigh as the whole seal crumbled a little, going towards, you can say, a downward base. As Kyuubi simply shook his head, right now he does not have time for this, as he quickly grabbed Naruto, increasing his size in his, you can say, tails, and went downside to see what was actually there. Hopefully there would be, you can say, no surprises there. After all, a rainstorm was already coming and he did not want to leave the kid just here. As he finally arrived, looking around to see if any traps were there, but thankfully none of them were actually there. As he finally put Naruto down as he had several small rooms there. Right now he has other things to deal with. As he started to release his chakra trying to heal Naruto's body, but for some reason as if Naruto's conscious mind was not there, somewhere else, as now inside of Naruto's mind as Naruto simply blinked once and then twice. Looking around, he was in a white plane as he had several, you can say, rainbow type colors and things like that. He was looking around. Where was he? Last thing he remembered, he was able to go through all the seals that were there. He deactivated them, though some of them still blown up, but still, he finally arrived to the last seal. After that, he was able to recognize it as a blood seal for the Uzumakis or things like that. So he put his hand after cutting his hand with blood and chakra, and after that suddenly he had a lot of pain in his whole body, especially his head was hurting like hell. As he blinked and started to look around, as suddenly he saw, you can say, several lights were coming from a one direction, even though the whole room was complete blank and white. Still, that other direction had a lot of white light coming from it. As Naruto stood up and started to walk towards it as if something was calling him to come here. As Naruto finally arrived to the location, as he saw that a old man who had a, you can say, reddish and whitish beard as well as reddish and whitish hair was sitting on a throne. As this, you can say, he had a, you can say, white kimono as well as red words of the Uzumakis all over it, especially the throne in which he was sitting on. As he looked towards, you can say, Naruto, as he said, so it seems that you have finally arrived here, huh, young Uzumaki? As Naruto simply looked around, who are you and where am I? As, who am I, huh? Well, you can say that I'm the most unlucky person that has ever passed through the Uzumaki clan. As Naruto simply shook his head, he does not have time for this. Who is this old man? As he looked around, there was nothing here. As he tried to activate his dojutsu, but it was not working. As the person simply chuckled, oh, you're thinking about that dojutsu, huh? That the demon fox, or you would like to call him Kurama, right? Gave you. Quite intriguing thing it actually is to be able to counter even the most powerful and deadliest dojutsu's abilities. Quite interesting if you ask me. as Naruto shot his eyes towards him as he narrowed his eyes. Who are you, old man? As the person simply chuckled as he said, well, you can say that I am Arashi. Arashi Uzumaki. I was the last clan head for the Uzumaki clan when we were attacked from every direction. As Naruto simply raised an eyebrow at that. What do you mean by that? I know that the Uzumaki clan was destroyed by the four nations. After all, Kumo, Aiwa, and all of those nations attack us, as Arashi simply chuckled as he said, well, you have some information in your head, though you are, you can say, quite mistaken at that front. As Naruto raised an eyebrow and narrowed his eyes. What do you mean by that? After all the history books had said so, even Kurama had said so. As the person simply chuckled as he said, well, you see, we were not attacked by the four nations, we were attacked by all the five nations. Even Konoha, who is still trying to, you can say, per se that, how their, you can say, beloved alliance was, you can say, allied nation was killed off by the other four nations, while in the all honesty it was just a, you can say, plan to gain control of the Kyuubi, because the Uzumaki clan would have never allowed any of our more people to turn into Jinchurikis and treated like shit, as well as they wanted our knowledge and our power of the seals and the treasures we actually had at the time, but we were able to stop them. As Naruto, his eyes widened, even though he does not like Konoha that much, he does not hate it as well, though many of the people try to kill him and hate him. Even his, you can say, parents abandon him to, you can say, get different type of things and things like that. You can say whole child of destiny thing, bullshit, which he has heard. As he simply shook his head, wait. What do you mean by that? You were attacked by all the five nations. How is that even possible? As Arashi simply sighed as he said, well, we were attacked in such a manner since it was the second great, you can say, ninja conflict where you can say we had several meetings with Konoha, try to, you can say, come up with different type of strategy and things like that. And we allowed, you can say, some of their Ambu and especially that perverted Jiraiya of the Sanin to come here as well. That was quite a mistake on our part as Naruto narrowed his eyes. We thought that they would not do anything, but it seemed that Jiraiya was able to escape for some time. We did not pay it much attention after we found him at the, you can say, hot springs. So we just thought that he was perving around and did not pay it much mind, but it seemed that he has, you can say, paid a visit to the secret tunnel. They were, you can say, we have put several of the seals. That was one of the places when this island was at its full glory to come from. It was a sneak attack. All the seals in it was disabled. We were able to find it at the last location when we tried to stop him from taking Kushina, but it seemed that he was able to reverse summon himself thanks to the Toad contract after, you can say, knocking out Kushina. I do not know if Kushina was on it as well or not. To be honest, I do not know anything of that front, but the smirk which Jiraiya had told us everything. And when Konoha Ambu simply vanished from the area, whole, you can say, thing started to begin. We were too late to stop them, though we were able to bury over half of their armies here in Uzushio as well. The price was really great for them as well, which actually stopped the second war or second, you can say, ninja conflict that actually happened. And we were able to, you can say, seal away our knowledge into that seal, as well as since I was a clan head at the time, I sealed away a part of my, you can say, chakra imprint into it. To be honest, I was not expecting anyone to come here. After all, it has been, you can say, half a century since that whole thing actually happened. As Naruto was silent for some time, things were not making sense. If Konoha was onto it, he can understand it to some degree, but why Kushina was supporting them? As he looked towards the person as he said, but what about Kushina? Why is she supporting them? And she's the wife of the fourth Hokage. As Arashi raised an eyebrow as he said, really now? Though, who are you? I can sense the chakra of, you can say, my kind, but your hair are blonde. As Naruto simply sighed, well, unfortunately, I'm the son of the fourth Hokage, as well as Kushina Uzumaki. As Arashi raised an eyebrow, you did not call them mom and dad. So, why are you here? As if you're from Konoha, as he had a, you can say, a narrowed, you can say, gaze towards him. I left Konoha since, you see that there's this whole thing as I started to explain about the whole plan of 4th Hokage as well as Kushina to, you can say, take his sibling Manma and Ruko with them to, you can say, since they were the child of destiny or some bullshit like that. As after some time, Arashi simply chuckled at that. Well, since I'm a chakra imprint, I remember it now. Kushina was quiet, you can say superficial like that. This whole you can say child of destiny bullshit like that. She's not even Uzumaki if she really, you can say, abandoned her family just because of such nonsense. As Nato simply shook his head, I'm not here to discuss my so-called mother. Why I am here to begin with, tell me. As Arashi simply nodded as he said, well, you see, that seal in which you has put your hand into has, you can say, scan your chakra, your body, your intentions, even your very soul, if you can say it in that manner. And now it has deemed you worthy as well as an Uzumaki. So therefore, it has granted you the knowledge of all the seals that were ever made by the Uzumaki clan, and the whole, you can say, the knowledge we actually had at the moment your little fox demon has put you into the tragedy where you can say all the golds and different type of money of the Uzumaki clan, especially the secret seals as well as the secret metal which we actually had, which we helped the seven swordmen of the myth. Those you can say swords were actually made by the Uzumaki clan when they had an alliance with the Kiri at, you can say, at the beginning of this whole ninja system, but it seemed that, and as a sign of good faith, we gave them those seals and the metals and some help from our Uzumakis and their own, you can say, sword making. They were able to make those 7 swords. Though the last sword was quite weak, if you ask me, only being able to regrow the butcher, if I'm not mistaken, The executioner blade, it was something like that, though it does not matter anymore. So we were the one who helped them, but in the end they simply betrayed us as well after gaining those swords, thinking that how they would be unstoppable after having those swords. But we easily made the counter for them, and that even pissed them off even further as they chuckled even more. As Naruto saw, you're getting, you can say, distracted once again. Why I am here? As he said, oh yeah, as I was saying, as he coughed a little, as Naruto's sweat dropped. First, he thought that this person would be quite, you can say, would have quite the wisdom, but he was acting like a child. But he simply shook his head as he said, well, you see, there is the special metal as well as the seals and instructions how to make the sword. If you want to have any sword for yourself, you have to make it for your own. So, and by yourself. So, I just want to tell you that as well as all the knowledge that is there. And since I'm already fading, he looked towards his hand. I just wanted to meet who is the lost, you can say Uzumaki. As Naruto simply nodded at that. So, before I vanish, child, tell me, what is your intentions about the Uzumakis? As Naruto looked towards him, to be honest, there are no Uzumakis left. And as for my so-called mother, she has abandoned me herself. So, there would be no more chances. I have seen you can say, the plan which they actually had. They have sealed away one tail's chakra worth of the, you can say, Kyuubi inside of me, not knowing that the Kyuubi could actually regain his power. And now Kurama had all 9 tails of their chakra. What do you think that will happen when they find out? I tell you what will actually happen. They will, you can say, once again extract the chakra from my body and seal away into themselves or some other great shinobi, saying that how since the Kyuubi can regain its power, then they can, you can say, always steal it even further, thus making me nothing more than a weapon and sending me into dangerous missions and things like that, making me practically a slave to my own family. As the person nodded at that, understandable. Though you did not answer me. Since Kushina has married your fourth Hokage, she has given up the right to be an Uzumaki. Therefore, she will be known as a Namikaze. Same with your other sibling. But you always said that your name is not Uzumaki from your memories. So, do tell me, what are you gonna do about it? As Naruto sighed, to be honest, I do not know. At the moment, I just want to get stronger, but hopefully in the future, I might be able to resurrect this nation and try to find some other Uzumakis if they are there as well. As the person nodded at that, as a small smile came to his face, well then, I wish you good luck at your journey, young Uzumaki. Hope you succeed. As after that, he simply vanished as Naruto was came out of his mindscape. as he came into his mindscape as he looked around to see the empty cage and bit of cubic chakra trying to heal his mind as Naruto closes his eyes and finally he in the outside world opened his eyes as he looked around. All the you can say headache which he had previously has vanished and somehow he could feel you can say he has access to some knowledge which he did not had previously. As he looked around as Kurama was there as a small campfire was also there as Naruto blinked a little as he saw that how Kurama was simply looking towards him. As Naruto said, well, how much time I was out, huh? As he looked towards his, you can say, put his hand on his head. As Kurama said, what actually happened to you, huh? That's seal. I had some idea what it actually did. So, are you alright, kid? As Naruto simply nodded at that and started to explain about the whole story where he actually went. As Kurama said, quite interesting. Those Uzumakis being able to cap their chakra print for over a half of the century, quite intriguing. So which means that this saves us time for the whole, you can say training about your 15 level of the seal mastery. So tell me, do you have all the knowledge? As Naruto simply chuckled at that and nodded. Well, there is some other things I want to tell you, QB. There are not 15 levels of the Seal Master. As QB raised an eyebrow, actually there are 25 levels. At this, QB's eyes widened at that. Which are you telling me that now you have the knowledge of at least 25th level of the Uzumakis? As Naruto simply smirked at that. Not only that, it has also given me, you can say, a lot of even 25th level Uzumaki masters think differently. They make you can say they make seals differently, think differently, design differently. And so I have a lot of you can say already pre-made seal knowledge as well. As QB simply sigh, you're already bad enough. You when you had only 10th level. So do tell me, does Mito had you can say 25th level as well? As that was simply struggle. No, actually, Mito did not had a lot of affinity for the whole series. She was good, being able to seal you away. But why do you think that she sealed you away with only a high level 8 seal if she had level to 25th? No, she was only, you can say level 11. And that was the only reason she was allowed to, you can say marry the Senju Hashirama, because even if Mito were to give the knowledge of such knowledge to the Konoha, even then they would not have a lot nothing compared to the Uzumaki clan. As QB simply nodded at that. Quite intriguing. So you're telling me that the greatest seal master according to the whole history is known as Uzumaki Mito and she was only level 11 seal master, huh? As Naruto simply chuckled at that. Well, yeah. As QB simply sighed, well then, good riddance. So, what do you have other plans? Are you feeling alright? As Naruto simply sighed, as I said, yeah. It seemed that my mind somehow was able to regain all that knowledge as well. I'm quite surprised that I did not simply blow up my mind. As QB simply chuckled as he said, I can feel a small chakra signature on your head. It seemed that some of the seals also appeared on your head, thus stabilizing the knowledge that is there. As Naruto simply nodded at that, he could feel a small seal that was still there, but it was fading away. As Naruto simply chuckled, well, I somehow remember this seal as well. Alright then. As he looked at QB and looked outside. A rainstorm, huh? Alright, see you tomorrow. After that, he simply, you can say, closes his eyes as QB simply chuckled. Well then, see you tomorrow as well, brat. Now, back in Konoha, as the third Hokage was looking towards his Ambo, the best Ambo which he had sent outside of the village to find the kid. As he looked towards, you can say, Kakashi, what do you mean that you did not find any of the clue or any lead towards the kid? He's just a kid who did not even enter into the academy because I did not allow it for him to go there. As Kakashi simply gulped a little. Well, Lord Hokage, we do not have any idea. He simply, as you can already see, he simply vanished from the area and there is no lead, not even the demonic chakra, which he released here a bit, is not felt across the, you can say, the forest all around Konoha. As Hiruzen simply shook his head. This was not good. Kakashi, you know the plan of Minato. We simply cannot jeopardize it even further. as Kakashi simply nodded at that. Yes, the plan in which Menma and Naruto will become the Hokage as well as the clan head respectively, as well as Naruto will be the mate, the head of the side branch of the Namikaze family and the mate into a you can say elite Ambu to send into dangerous missions because he has one tail chakra of the Biju. As Hiruzen simply nodded at that, the plan is perfect, but we have to find the kid. We simply cannot let him roam around even if he's not the true Jinchuriki. For the QB, he still has the power. And there is, you can say, potential for him to disturb our plans in the future. So find him, Kakashi. I do not come back unless you find him. Otherwise, I would have to tell Minato. As Kakashi simply nodded at that, not wanting to disappoint his sensei, who is still there, trying his best to, you can say, weaken other nations and protect Konoha and things like that, and training both Menma and Naruto so that they can fulfill their destiny as the children of destiny, as well as Kushina-san training both of them to, you can say, increase their power. As he looked towards, you can say, Hiruzen, as I said, alright, Lord Hokage. After saying that, he vanished along with his team to find the kid. No matter, they have to find him. Otherwise, their plans, the plans of their leader, true leader, will be jeopardized. As while after some days, Hiruzen had no choice after finding no, you can say, lead to the cave, as he sent the message to Minato. Now, let us go to Minato on the faraway side of the land of lightning in the, you can say, the rocky as well as mountain regions. The small camp was there, as two children were, you can say, sparring with each other. Menma and Naruto were going towards each other in taijutsu battle as Kushina was cheering both of them, as well as Jiraiya and Tsunade was also there, while on the other hand Minato was simply looking towards them with a fond smile. As Jiraiya said, well, Minato, I must say that they are quite the prodigies, already learning, you can say, how to, you can say, balance their leaf exercise, even though they're not that great at it. As Tsunade simply nodded, well, they at least mastered the tree walking exercise. After all, they have too much chakra to do leaf exercise. As Jiraiya simply chuckled at that as he said, yeah, you did point that out. It's a good thing you came with us. And now their chakra control would be great. As Tsunade simply nodded at that, yeah, they have already mastered tree walking. After all, they're only 9-year-old and they have already mastered tree walking exercise. That is quite the prodigy level if you ask me. As both of them simply nodded at that, while on the other hand you can say both of them were going through the Uzumaki as well as the Namikaze strands respectively. And they are already learning the Uzumaki and the Namikaze style. As they simply nodded at that, as Kushina speak up, it seemed that Naruto is the only one who had the Uzumaki chakra chains, while Menma, it seemed that he will not be able to inherit it. She said sadly, as Minato speak up, well, don't worry about it. You can already see he has blonde and red hair, which means that he has took after me as well. So don't worry about it. When the time comes, I will teach him the Horizon as well. As Kushina smiled at that, as he said, of course, Minato-kun. As Minato simply smiled, but then they heard, you can say, a small puff of smoke appeared out of nowhere as all of them came into their stances, wondering if some shinobis has found them. But then they noticed that it was a small ape. As Jiraiya raised an eyebrow as he said, you are one of the summons of Hiruzen Sarutobi, right? As the ape simply nodded and threw a scroll towards Minato. After Minato caught it, as the ape simply, you can say, poof away. As Minato opened the scroll, one raising an eyebrow, and started to read it. As he started to read it, as he started to get angry, as he said, what? As Jiraiya was a bit confused as he started to look toward the scroll as well, as he simply scoffed after reading the scroll. As Tsunade was also angry, as Kushina also grabbed the scroll and started to read it as well, as she was quite confused as well as angry at the same time. Minato, what's the meaning of this? How is this even possible? As Minato simply shook his head, I do not know. Hiruzen has said that somehow Naruto has disappeared out of from the village. As Kushina speak up, do you think that someone has kidnapped him? But why would they do that? After all, he's not, you can say, useful to be exact. After all, he does not have the more power of the QB, which means that he's not as powerful as Menma and Naruto. As Jiraiya speak up, well, the other people do not know that he did not have the QB's full power. Well then, even if they caught him, then he would not be much useful. After all, he only had one tail chakra of the QB. As Minato simply shook his head, no, you did not read it completely. Hiruzen has said that Naruto himself has left the village, but why would he do that? That ungrateful brat, after treated as a hero in the village. Now, he has left the village. Well, as Jiraiya simply shook his head, well, quite the ungrateful brat he actually is, Minato. I think that he's getting spoiled. And things like that, as Minato simply nodded at that along with Kushina. As Tsunade said, well, Hiruzen did say that he was not treated well and not as a hero, so that could be the reason. As Minato simply scoffed, the villagers were simply angry. So what if he got, you can say, beaten up once or twice, or getting bullied in the, you can say, orphanage? In the time, they will, you can say, treat him normally. Otherwise, he would also be sent into the ambu. So why does he care that? Why? He is being not treated well. After all, his life is to live in the shadows as an ambo to and go into dangerous missions where the other normal shinobis would never take such missions. After all, we did give him one tail worth of Night's chakra which will help him in his chakra as well as in healing ability, even though it will not be comparable to Menma and Ruko, but still, that ungrateful brat. As Jiraiya simply nodded, don't worry Minato, I will inform my spies and they will keep an eye on the kid. And when they will get him, we will place seals on him so he simply cannot leave even further. As Minato simply nodded at that, I was hoping to avoid it, but it seemed that the brat is quite ungrateful. So, we will put some seals on him to make him loyal to Konoha and to us, of course. After all, our plans are simple. Make Menma the Hokage Naruto, the clan head, as well as Naruto to be the side branch member of the Namakase family. As they simply nodded at that, as Kushina was also angry, the brat was really getting ungrateful and things like that after all the things they have given to the brat, and now he has ran off, thus making their plans even more difficult. But when they will get him, he will pay for such insolence. As Minato started to, you can say, write a scroll and send it to one of these stores which reverse summon itself into the, you can say, Konoha. As Kushina simply scoffed at that, as she said, ungrateful brat, as she looked towards both Menma and Ruko, who were looking towards their parents, wondering what actually was wrong, as Kushina gave both of them smiles. After all, these are the child of destiny. This even proves further, after all. Otherwise, if Naruto had even a small part in the whole destiny, then he would have accepted his destiny to be the member of a side branch member, and you can say being taught low level techniques or normal level normal techniques from their parents and being in a ambu to serve the village and take high ranking missions, and now he has ran off such ungratefulness. As she looked toward, you can say, Menma and Naruko, don't worry about it, sweetie. We will handle things. Why don't you train? As both of them simply shrugged and started to train even further. As Minato said, don't worry, I have already sent the message. And now the best hunter needs would be sent after him to capture him. And after that, we will place seals on him. As they all of them simply nodded at that. And now they have started, as Jiraiya said, well enough about the brat, and now we have to train both Menma and Naruko. They simply nodded at that and started to instruct both of them to how to do different type of things and things like that. And now let us get back to Naruto, as Naruto was simply looking towards his island. As I said, I have found it, Kurama. As Kurama simply nodded at that. So, this is the seal, huh? As Naruto, along with the help of many shadow clones as well as Kyuubi, when Naruto had, you can say, taken off half of the robbers from there, who simply chuckle and grow to some size and swing his tails, removing a large section of the rubbles there. As Naruto gave Kyuubi a annoyed look, if you could have do that early, you should have done it. As Kyuubi simply smirked, well, where would be fun in that, brat? As Naruto simply sighed, as Kyuubi simply chuckled. In the years, both of them had started to have great friendship. Even when Naruto has released Kyuubi from the shield, he is still, you can say, helping him. Though a small part of him is still, you can say, connected to the shield, but somehow, if Naruto were to die, Kyuubi would still be released. So, that is that. Though Naruto can utilize his chakra forcefully if he so desire from the seal as well. Though that would cause a lot of trouble, so at the moment he does not need power to begin with. He already has his dojutsu to master. As he looked towards a small section as he activated his eyes. It's about time. He, you can say, experiment with one of the abilities of the eyes as he looked towards the robbers and started to focus his chakra into it as his eyes glowed, and suddenly all the robbers that were around them started to, you can say, float within the air as Naruto simply smirked and threw all of them away. As Kyuubi said, telekinesis, huh? So you're able to use that technique already. As Naruto simply smirked at that. Well, I'm a great learner, you see. As Naruto as Kyuubi simply chuckled. Something tells me that the experience which that Uzumakis had that in their battle time is also has teleported to you, huh? As Naruto simply chuckled and rubbed the back of his head as well, as Kyuubi simply shook his head. As Naruto said, alright, it's about time. As Naruto started to gather his chakra in his hand, as Kyuubi simply shook his head, this will not do. As he started to put his hand in Naruto's you can say back, and started to channel a bit of his chakra. As Naruto said, what are you doing, Kyuubi? You know that I cannot put demon chakra into it, right? As Kyuubi simply shook his head, just activate your eyes. And started to, you can say, channel my chakra from the seal as well. As Naruto was a bit confused but nodded nonetheless, you can say, and his eyes started to glow even further, and the chakra that was being flown into his body by Kurama has been converted into his own chakra. As Naruto's eyes shot open as he quickly go through hand sign and slam his hand into the seal, as it was like, you can say, a connection, as Naruto was taking Kyuubi's chakra, converting it into his own chakra and slamming it into the seal, though it will work temporarily. So it started to begin the process. All the players started to glow even further as it finally diverted back into its prime position when this seal was first activated all those years ago. When this was actually made, as Naruto looked towards his, you can say, ancestral home, the Uzushio, in all of its glory. As Naruto whistled a little, as Kyuubi said, not bad if you ask me. Now that it has been restored, so where should we bring the civilian and the shinobis? Do you have any idea about that? As Naruto shrugged, I have no idea. As both Kyuubi and Naruto looked towards each other and blinked once and then twice. As Kyuubi said, you're still a stupid person, right? As Naruto simply chuckled a little, well, I do have some ideas. As Kyuubi simply sighed at that, you're really a brat. As Naruto simply chuckled as he said, well, I have some theories, come with me. As both of them went towards the office of the Uzushio, as Naruto looked towards the office and whistled once again. Quite great if you ask me. As he took a seat, as he said, well, the plan is simple. I will make several shadow clones with the same technique you have just given me, and those, you can say, and placing seeds on them, thus converting them into self-sustaining shadow clones, which will not be, you can say, easily dispatched. After that they will go to different nations, and where they will keep an eye on the nations into small villages where they will be unsatisfied by the, you can say, whole treatment they are getting from their different nations, and after that my clones will, you can say, achieve some position there after some time. We are chakra using beings, so it would not be that hard, and after that we will, you can say, convince them to come to this place, seeing that how they're not being treated well, as well as keeping an eye on those shinobis who are being treated unfairly, and some kids who have potential to become shinobis, they will also come here, and then, you can say, this whole thing can begin. After all, we have treasures here, so it would be quite easy, even if I were to spend it, all the treasure which I have seen in the vault, it is 5 times or even 10 times greater than the treasure of the 5 daimyo, if I'm not mistaken. As Kyuubi simply chuckled, you have no idea, brat, that treasure is actually greater than all the 5 nations' treasures combined. Why do you think that all of them agreed to attack such a small island nation if they have nothing to gain? All of them had their eyes fixed on that gold and things like that. As Naruto simply shrugged at that, well, it works out for us even more. So, what do you think? As Kyuubi thought it for some time, the idea was not that bad. So, hopefully, this will work in few years. In this time, Naruto can also increase his training. After all, they have a lot of time in their hands. As Kyuubi simply smirked at that, well then, you're on, kid. As Naruto simply smirked at that. So yeah guys, here I will have this part. Hope you guys enjoyed it. For the next part, you guys already know the like goal, which is gonna be 300 likes and 180 comments. Do that and I shall upload the next part as quick as possible. So yeah guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And yeah guys, I have also put the link of my Instagram within the description below, so please follow me on Instagram. And if you guys are new to this channel and if you guys have not subscribed yet, please guys do so. It would be a lot helpful to me. So yeah guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and yeah, peace.